Morning, another day, another box. This is one final thing I have been looking for a long time. I know this zoomed in the camera pretty close here, but the box I've got is very large. But without further ado, let's have a look in. I still lost my Stanley knife somewhere because I can't find it, but well, just use what we've got, which is just a screwdriver. God damn. So this has actually been packaged very well. Came off that purveyor of stuff, eBay. So just back over here. Oops. There's just tape over the other side here. I can't quite see what's going on. Just trying to stab myself. Oops. A screwdriver, because that will hurt a lot. Come on. Oh, damn it. So let's just start this over here. Okay. Hope it's not going to fall off the desk, because I ain't got a lot of space here. Really should do something. Come up. Well, come on. That's the bender. We've got the whoops, one way round. Classic. Cheese it. So let's just take the cardboard box off. So yeah, so we've got a bit of packaging. Oops. Let's just move around slightly. Oh, let's put that back. And I seem to have a pillow. That was a little bit unexpected. I wasn't really expecting to get a pillow. But hey ho, it's that's funny. What I should have in here, go all the way down to the bottom. Those packing stuff. So this is what I was actually after. So, give me a second while I get to do. This is actually quite heavy. This is actually heavier than I was expecting. So let's just remove sellotape. More sellotape. I've got sellotape here. And come on. Good. Oops. Okay, so without further ado, what I have actually got, you might have pulled it from the edge. Yeah, right, got it. So, oh, this is actually good condition. So what I've actually got here is a Memotech MTX 500. Right, just 1 second, just pause this a sec whilst I move the box out of the way. So let's just turn the light on because it's a black object on a black thing. So what we've got is, oh, lock slightly. That's missing a little foot, but that doesn't matter. Get one of those. So yeah, so what I've got is a MTX, slightly rocking MTX 500. Don't know whether it works. That's like, don't know whether it's slightly sticky. So unused. I'm not sure what's the keyboard. But all the keys seem to work. But yeah, I've actually been eyeing one of these up for a long time, but they've actually gone really pricey. So let's see, what do we have? Oh, let's turn this around so I can see it better. So there's a RS232 port, seems to be covered. It's got two RS232 ports. Oh, okay. Wow, that's unexpected to get two. Monitor port. So that looks to be coax. That was a little bit unexpected. I was expecting some kind of, I think it might be composite, but anyway, whatever. Got a audio out. Got a power, which looks to be a DIN connector. We have an RF modulator, a parallel printer, tape for mic and ear, and two D-port 9-pin joystick adapters on the side. Looks like we've got a side expansion slot thing here. So that goes. Oh, so there's a little ribbon cable for the keyboard. I can just about see underneath that. And this is serial number 15069. Okay. So let's just do that. It's all screwed together with actual just normal flat screws. But yeah, this actually looks, oops, damn it. It looks like that side expansion just pings off quite easily by the looks of that. So yes, so let's just see what else we have here. There should be a bunch of stuff. What on earth is it? And so overhead, come on. Packing kernels. So there's a tape deck. So a tape cassette of some description. So I'll look at that in a bit. There. There's a book on the Memotech. Memotech? This is Memotech. So yeah, so we have a Memotech bit. Smells like it's been in an attic for a little bit because it's got that slight smell of being in an attic. What else we got? There's loads of stuff here. Let's grab some things. Oh, there's a memo pad. User group. Okay, so this is saying too much. A user group for the Memotech Computer Users Club. We're slightly bound. So this person obviously was very much into Memotech stuff. Memotech Owners Club 1989. Wow, that's quite cool. I guess because this didn't have such a big following, the big magazines maybe didn't quite take it up, so people had their own computer clubs and stuff. So that's pretty cool, actually. So somebody in the past here, so they wanted a database 2. Somebody wanted a Pascal ROM card, and somebody was selling a disk drive. Somebody selling a ZX81, a VIC-20, or wanting, sorry, selling. Oh no, that's for sale. Oh, okay, so it's for sale. So somebody talking about future articles. 8-inch disk drive. So, oh wow, blast from the past. So the club has been given an 8-inch disk drive unit. It's mounted in an FDX case with a 240 volt. Did not think you'd get a 8-inch drive. I think I remember seeing 5¼ inch discs. Well, there was, because you had the big enclosure thing, but I don't remember seeing that. So it said a input socket. It said we do not have an interface cable or interface board, and they're asking questions. On the back of the FDX, there's a cover over a slot marked for an 8-inch drive connection, and they're talking about 5¼ stuff. Somebody talking about hints and tips, looking at some piece of software called Noopad. Programming competitions, train spotting competition. Wow. What? Oh, spot the difference. Okay, so it's just a spot the difference. And so somebody's written a guide to better programming. And oh, that's interesting. So based on the fact that this was from February 1989, it's talking about, in these days of increasing domination of PC this, PC that, an interesting show occurred at the Aston Villa Sports Ground, which is called Herald, a mini revolution in the lesser known micros. The alternative micro show, which was held in 12th of November. Well, it's quite interesting actually, because they're talking about, literally they're talking about promoting older computers, or computers back in the 1980s when PCs was coming on the rounds. And what do we have now? We have a huge, or certainly growing bigger, retro computer market, and you know, the whole thing about I guess getting away from PCs and a lot of modern technology back to a simpler time, which is actually really quite cool. So yeah, so it's talking about oh, so they're talking about an Einstein user group, which got 1,200 visitors. Wow. So Lynx user groups, Texas TA 99 for a user group, an MSX user computer club, a QL one, another Lynx one, another TA 99, more Einsteins, a Jupiter Ace user group, and lots of stuff about Einsteins. Talking about lack of organisation because of not being able to do stuff. So that's actually quite interesting that even back then they were talking about a lot of computers being sidelined. So that is, there's a circuit diagram here. What is this, a circuit diagram of? Mouse interface. Okay, so looks like it's talking about adding, oh yes, sorry, it is talking about mice. So wow, clock signals for mouse interface. Oh, that's interesting. Sticking stuff like that in. But yeah, so that's quite interesting. What else do we have? Oh wow, there's a whole history of this here. So it's certainly got, oh, we did have dates in this one. Oh, this one we've just got staples in. Talking about a print. Oh wow, I did not know this. So there was actually a Memotech printer. Interesting. Learn a new thing. This must have been a copy of something like the Epsons or stuff at the time. Made in Japan. Okay, so this is probably a rebadged Epson, I would hazard a guess, because they were the big ones at the time. Because I remember having a one Boots cassette. Hang on, was that a Boots cassette recorder? Wow. Now that is probably going to be quite rare. So interesting. So what else do we have here? Some talk about extended basics. There is a talk about the Memotech series. Oh yeah, okay, so that was the big enclosure. Obviously they've got the printer there. So yeah, so okay, so that's interesting. So it's talking here that even from basic you could actually print to that, so you could, there's a whole bunch of escape characters. Okay, so okay, so that was actually a Centronics type printer. But and then talk of the high resolution computer processor. I do remember seeing this at showing off some really funky things for the time in the 1980s in the big computer show that used to be held at Olympia. That was it. That's where I remember seeing this. So it's where a lot of those were held. More club magazines. So okay, Okay, so we've got more Club Magazine stuff there. What else? So this person was certainly a very, very avid person for a Memotech. So, because there's literally a whole stack of everything related to Memotech. Well, so more talk of this. I'm sure that this was pretty much a driver for this at the time, so it literally front-ended it. But like I say, but it's interesting as well that I was just talking about 8-inch drive. Talk about this high-res or the expansion box, and this just has got 2 5¼ inch bits in it. Oh, there's an issue number 1. Wow, okay. So it looks like they printed stuff and then off they went to a local, I can't remember what we called it, used to have the machines where you could actually, I remember them in school actually, we used to print, they used to print off loads of stuff just by having a drum thing and the image and some ink and what, I don't know, it was a long time ago. But anyway, so certainly more of these. Lunar Lander. So yeah, wow, that's going to be interesting to go through. What else do we have? The basic tutor reference and operator's manual. So okay, so we've got the connectivity bits. Might have a little box to convert the monitor outputs, because if it's just a coax, I've got something that may actually convert it. Otherwise, this is going to be going via a video cassette recorder to see if I can get a picture, if it works. Hopefully it works. Not sure if it does at the moment. So, okay, let's pile up more stuff. So, oh, Memotech retail price list. So we had a 64 MTX 500. So this, oh, okay. So this is the, oh, okay. So this is the 32K one. Might have to try and get an upgrade for it at some point. So there seems to be twin RS2. Oh, okay, right. So I guess with the blanking plates with the RS232, which are here, so it looks like that's actually got blanking plates, so it doesn't actually have an RS232 on it. So that would be, they just have the same case with blanking plates. So there was an RS128. So this is this would be a 32K with 16K video memory. So this would have been £199 at the time. You've got memory expansions. I'll have to try and sort out another memory expansion, I guess, at some point, depending what can run on it. There's some ROM boards. Okay, so there's something called Color New Word on ROM, £75. MySoft Pascal, £60. Wow. So you've paid essentially, say, I don't know, MTX 500, £200 for this MTX computer, and then you're literally paying another quarter of that price again for a Pascal ROM. And then there's some other ROM packs. Oxford Ring Node Kit. Okay, so there's a networking one, that's £50. And then there was a, oh, character set ROMs, £25. What else was in here? And then there's a bunch of other bits and pieces. So software, it's got here, Memotech single disc, basic, new word processing, blah, 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 40-column utilities, some stuff about doing discs. £400. Oh, so that's a single disk drive. So, okay, so an FDX single disk drive, so it requires TV or monitor. So that was £400 for that. A upgrade package one, which requires a monitor. FDX single disk system, some other stuff about CPM. Okay, so that's CPM, so that's £200. And then some of the bits, so So £269 for a printer, bunch of books, some business. Oh, FDX twin disc system, which requires a monitor and an RS-232 board. Okay, so we'd need an RS-232 board for that. So that was a case, power supply, floppy controller, 2 floppy drives, which are double density, up to 500k. Woohoo! Cume drives, color 80 column board, some bunch of software, 700. Oh wow, 756 XVAT. Wow, so that would have been, what was that at the time? Was that 12.5%? 15? I don't know. So that still would have been a big chunk of change. That was a stupid amount. And then we got a silicon disk drive. So case power supply, blah 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 blah. 1 5.25 drive, Cume drive, 1 256k silicon disk. Did I silicon? Oh, okay. Are they talking about a sort of a RAM store or something? That must be what that is. But still, 865 excluding VAT. And then some other bits with a... oh, okay, so that the 8-inch floppy drive I was talking about here. So it's floppy drive expansion, single twin drive 8-inch disc. 1.6 megabytes unformatted. Blah, 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 blah. Some other bits and pieces. Single drive for $5.95. Twin drive for $9.95 ex VAT. And then there was, oh wow, hard disk. So we've got a single board computer running at 80 MHz, includes the color 80 column board plus 1 teak 5.25 inch 1 megabyte drive, 110 or 20 megabyte hard disk, a hard disk controller, some other bits and pieces. Anyway, it's got software and bits. But 20 megabyte drive, £2,995 ex VAT. Or we have the high resolution graphics processor with software, blah, 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 20 megabyte Winchester, CPM, some other bits and pieces, and further equipment will be required depending on specific applications. £7,528.33. So just bear with me a second. Okay, so back again. So I was just working something out. So this 750.28.33. So at the time, in around 1984. Oh, sorry, I just need to move this out of the way slightly. Where's it gone? I think that price in. Hang on. So I have to pause this again because I've lost the screen. Okay, VAT rate, value added tax rate in 1984 was about 17%. I just had a look. So the HRX high resolution processor was announced in 1984. So this is all back around the MTX was originally out. So looking at 1984, I would. Oh, where's it gone? So the whole thing would have, in today's money, oh, let's just move that over there, 1 sec. So the whole thing in today's money would have been £28,938.84. It's a bit weird here. It says 7528.33. Well, 33 pence added. It says that's a bit, that's really, really random. Yeah, so anyway, some more prices. Monochrome monitor, £110. Micro VTech color monitor. Okay, that's with a PAL composite video interface and speaker. That's £325. And the column. Anyway, so some bits there. So yeah, so it was word processor. It was quite expensive. So word processing package $5.99. Complete business center. Microsoft MTX 512 80K. Woohoo. Twin RS-232s, FDX floppy drive, twin disc system, printer, monochrome monitor, £1,490, which is ex VAT, which that would have been. Let's just take this without VAT. So that would have been pretty much £4,599 and 72 pence in today's money. Then tax on top, obviously 70% there, 20% now. Anyway, wow, that was quite interesting actually. And then, oops, oh, that's front. Got something else which seems to be missing a cover. Memotech. Oh, okay. So this looks like Memotech. Oh, sorry, Memotech. That was the whole. See, I was thinking suddenly word processor, but no. Okay. So it looks like somebody's bound a whole bunch of them together. So that's pretty cool. Assembly language reference manual. Okay. Wow. There's a lot more than basic than that. And then should have ears. Oops. More packing material. Probably one of the important bits, which is the power supply. So we've got the power supply, so that's cool. Is there anything else in the box? And I have some kind of interface board. Let's find out what this is. Oh, okay, this looks like it'd be a RAM expansion. Okay, so had the 528. Okay, so that's quite cool. Oh, and it's got a through connector through to the other side. So this looks to be, I can't see this because my eyesight. Hang on, let's have a look. Yep, this is RAM. It's RAM because I saw Oki chips on it. Yep, Oki 42046. So I'm not quite sure how much. So it looks like there's a bunch of default RAM size. There's a LS244. There's a 74 LS244 on it. So obviously there's some couple of controller chips for the memory, and then what we've got here is a bunch of memory chips, and then sockets for more. So obviously it came with a set of defaults and sockets. I am not sure. I don't think I have the specific RAM chips that this has got any spares. So it might be interesting to fully populate it, but yeah. So we've got a RAM expansion. Oops, actually let's just stick that back in here for the moment. Hopefully it works. I guess when this was packaged up, not used, it was basically because the person who had it moved on. And then a crib sheet of some description, and do it. And what I do have, oh, there's a joystick. Wow, I wasn't not expecting a joystick. There's something else. There might be something else in here as well. Let's just shift over here. So just looking at the time, it's 9:20. I'm going to go out a little bit. Okay. What? Oh, adapter for the cassette. So and there is just a standard RF modulator. Well, may true, but yeah. What I'll do, I think I'll probably just try the RF modulator first through the video cassette recorder, because that's set up to channel 36, so that should be the best bit. So, I'm sure I've got a not quite sure what we have with a Del Boy Reliant van model description. Okay, whatever. I guess it's just a bit more packing material. And then there's, okay, that's it. I should have, if it comes to the cable, I should have a converter. So this could be lots of converters going on, which will get us to a point where I don't need a RF modulator. Place to put things. Okay, that's fine. Let me just put this down for a moment. Okay, we're back again. So, 30 minutes in. Right, I was going to use an RF cable, but my VCR, video cassette recorder, which I was using to convert some retro stuff in the at the back, seems to have stopped working since the last time I used it, which was a month or so ago. So it does not turn on at all, which is interesting. So I'm just going to try this with a OSSC. So I don't know what the monitor output is. I assume it's composite. So I found I've got a little BNC connector. I've shoved a cable I found, which I use for sort of composite connections, into it, and well, yeah, not bothering the sound at the moment. And so I just want to see whether via the OSSC this will actually show up and do something. But it's so annoying, just been hunting around for half an hour. Right, so without further ado, got the power supply plugged in. I did do a quick test to make sure the power light comes on, which it does. But now for the moment of truth. Well, does it work? So I think I've got this set up right. So let's just power it on, and it does something. Keyboard doesn't work though. Okay. Oh, what? So what? So it does something. I guess there's something not quite right with it. Okay, so it does do something. Right, that's I'm not quite sure. Oh, F1 worked. Okay. I guess there's sticky key or something somewhere. So we've got 13579 hyphen. Okay, so every other key. Okay, so this is probably going to mean taking it apart. Well, it sort of does something anyway. That was more than I was expecting. Okay. I think for the moment I shall leave it there because I've got to go and sort some my horses, but it sort of works, so that's a good start. I guess there's just something wrong with the keyboard. So I guess we'll be looking into this a bit further. Anyway, that's it. It does sort of work, and that's about it really. Okay, and we're done.